Bobby Perry, Billy.
Yeah, that nose is really bleeding, and of course, if you're Kentucky, you want him out there on the floor. I don't know if he's going to be out there quick enough. Trainer working on the official standing right there and watching him.
He's coming out. Now remember, the Wildcats called the timeout with 8 on the shot clock.
Up 3. They'd love to get that ball to Sparks if possible, but McDonald understands that.
Morris down low and denied. Foot on the line. Squeaky Johnson had a back foot on the line. They don't have the change of possession up there on the shot clock. It says 2 seconds. I thought that Squeaky Johnson actually had the change of possession. They may take a look at that in the under 4 timeout. Didn't you think?
I would agree with you.
The line a little bit.
Ruffin with one more. (73-67). Bradley in the NCAA tournament for the first time since 1996.
Nice down and through for Hawkins. Go to the rim. You end up trying for the 3. If you don't make it, you're in deep trouble.
Rush, Sasha Khan. They come back and try for the 3 again. 21 seconds to go.
Now it's a 3-point venture. So I'm big at going for the 2 right away. Extend that game. You miss the 3. They start rejoicing in Peoria.
17.4 to go. And Bennett goes to the line. He's 2 for 2 tonight. One more.
They never backed off, did they?
No.
Think about it. I mean, a little run by KU. Showing a lot of Valentines out there. Great preparation. Even defensively on inbounds plays, they were extraordinary when KU would try and score.
1 year ago, Kansas defeated by Bucknell. That was a 14 against a 3. Tonight it's a 13 against a 4. Franklin defensively from the corner. Hawkins. Time called, 9.4 to go. Kansas cuts the margin to 5.
Five-point lead for the Bradley Braves, and we still have a little time remaining. We'll bring you back when we resume play. Right now, back to your game.
Still just 2 seconds on that shot clock. They never reset it.
The only thing that I can think of is that Squeaky Johnson was out of bounds when he caught the ball. And on that block, since it never hit the rim, it will be Kentucky's ball. 2 seconds. Little back screen inside. Maybe a lob to Morris. Here comes the screen. There's Morris.
Out high to Rondo. Has to fire it.
Go.
Oh, it looked good, didn't it?
Sure did.
Morris kept it alive, and Crawford lays it in. Huge moment in this game.
Great offensive rebounding by Morris. He fought 2 players off to keep that ball alive for a teammate.
First 2 of the night for Joe Crawford, who averages 11 a game.
Well, he can thank Morris 100% for that, too. There was nobody around because everybody was trying to keep Morris off the boards.
Dish underneath, Holmes.
Morris with a good block.
Yes, he did. Kentucky has its largest lead of the night, matched at 5 and looking for more. Sparks is knocked down and slow to his feet. Back up, looking for an opening that's not there. Under 3 minutes. Perry slides off the rim, back in his hands, and a new 35.
He is just everywhere at the right spot at the right time tonight.
And again, the winner takes on Connecticut on Sunday.
Good post up there by solid play.
But good defense by Holmes.
And he not only played good defense on Morris, he was able to be quick enough to get back in there and grab the ball as well.
It'll be a 1-and-1 at the other end. Holmes to shoot the 1-and-1. Just 2:28 left in this one. No one able to pull away.
And neither one of these teams an overtime type ball club that's had any experience this year.
One more to cut at the 3. Short. Rondo double figures in rebounds.
He has played an excellent game. He's kept everything in control.
All's right in the world, in the Kentucky world, when he's handling the ball. Crawford, oh, that one in and out. And McDonald with an impressive rebound behind the back to escape pressure.
He took a gamble, though. That ball going back behind the back. Kentucky had 2 people behind him. There is
Holmes called on the foul.
Morris with a really strong rebound.
It should be quite a day in Philadelphia, Kentucky and Connecticut. First up for this exciting doubleheader day. Later it will be Villanova and Arizona. But the one out of the Washington, D.C. bracket, the Huskies take on Kentucky, with the winner taking on the Washington Huskies next week in D.C. Hello, friends.
I'm confused, James.
I know, all these Washingtons and Huskies, Jim Nance and Billy Packer courtside. This is amazing to think. When you look at the storied past of Kentucky basketball, all of UConn's recent history with 2 championships. Billy, these 2 programs have never met in basketball before today.
When I read that, I could not believe it. As an example, the last 17 years, these 2 teams are 29-0 in first round of the NCAA tournament. You figured somewhere they had to meet in the tournament, if not regular season.
Never scheduled one another, never met in any one of those other kind of tournaments during the regular season. Players to watch: Marcus Williams. He was the difference maker as UConn was pushed to the limit by Albany on Friday night.
In a way I would have never expected, hitting the outside jump shots. And Perry had the game of his career, 25 points. He was terrific. Came up with the big shots when they needed them.
In the win over UAB, there are the lineups. Sparks, the senior on the Kentucky side, and Hilton Armstrong, Denham Brown, seniors for Connecticut. This game brought to you in HDTV by Harris Corporation, world leader in broadcast systems for high-definition television and mobile media. The trio of officials: Richard Cartmel, Robert Staffen, Terry Weimer. As we're getting set here, UConn.
What was interesting, the guys were inside the circle because of the way the circle is painted. Good job by the official getting that straightened out.
Huskies in the home white as the higher seed. They've thus earned it. So they meet for the first time at UConn. Not a very confident team right now, not only with its struggles against Albany, but its quarterfinal loss in the Big East tournament. They open up with a beautiful assist by Denham Brown, leading to the dunk by Hilton Armstrong.
Jim, good call there. That was about as fine a set as I've seen Connecticut run an outcourt in a long time. It looks like this team is focused for this ball game, unlike what they were the other night.
They had to come back from 12 down with 11:30 left. Here's Sparks firing up a 3 and pulled down by Armstrong.
Pretty good look for Sparks. Williams cannot afford to let Sparks have that good a look. It's a terrific three-point shooter.
That UConn team, again down 12, ended the game 34-9 stretch, and Denham Brown bangs home a 2-point jumper.
That is a real tough matchup for Sparks. Brown, 6'4", plays even bigger than that, extremely strong, shoots right over the top of Sparks' early.
So the first 4 to the Huskies.
That'll give Sparks the opportunity to penetrate with the shot blockers. He won't have much of a chance in there.
Crawford, no go on the 3, and it's Josh Brown sweeping for UConn. Marcus Williams tries to feed it in congested territory, but it's last touched by Kentucky.
Jim, take a look at some of these individual matchups. Crawford is on Gay, giving up about 3 inches. You've got Sparks, who got caught on the switch. Devin Brown giving up 3 inches. Kentucky goes a little bit of zone out of bounds.
Trying to get it inside to Josh Boone to converge, and he is fouled. He is fouled by Crawford. There is Jim Calhoun, recent inductee into the Basketball Hall of Fame up the road in Springfield. And an hour's drive from the Storrs campus. Went in last year, same time as Jim Boeheim of Syracuse.
Kentucky matching up in a little zone right now.
Marcus Williams, three-point shot. And Perry clears it for Kentucky. We talked about UConn's win over the feisty Great Danes of Albany. It was Kentucky over UAB. Last on the floor here Friday night. Kentucky shot 31%, still won, and won an opening round game yet again. Rondo gets Kentucky on the board for the first time. That win for Kentucky Friday night, 16th straight first-round victory for Kentucky.
Jim, Rondo has not had a double-figure scoring game in postseason. That's 3 games in the SEC tournament, and of course the other night he was 3 for 10, 8. His assists have still been up there. He had 10 assists the other night against UAB, but has not had the prolific scoring he started off this season with.
There's Tubby Smith, 28 and 11 in his career in the NCAAs, including a championship.
12 appearances with Tulsa, Georgia, and Kentucky. So he's proven at every step that he can be an outstanding coach.
Yep, took Tulsa to the Sweet 16 twice. Georgia, and of course Kentucky onto the championship. And Morris is fouled by Armstrong. One on Boone at the other end. This end, it's Armstrong.
Oh, Jim, something else we have interesting. There have only been 7 coaches in the history of college basketball that won the national championship the first time they took a team there. We've got 2 sitting right here, Tubby and Jim. And we'll have a guy in the next game in the arena, Raleigh Massimino. So we've got 7 altogether. Jimmy Valvano, Judd Heathcote, Ed Jucker, Steve Fisher are the others. But 3 in the history of the game will be right here. 2 on the sidelines right now. Very unusual.
Jeff Adrian in for Boone. Sits down with an early foul. One more for Morris.
Is there any question who Raleigh will be rooting for?
Well, he's coming up from Florida. He's starting a new program down in Florida. And he's coming back. Still such a part of that Villanova family. Jay Wright keeping all that family tradition alive. They'll be playing next. Foul outside on Kentucky.
And it's going to be a tough matchup for Crawford because Gay exploded by him, and of course will be able to finish with a tremendous height differential.
That's 2 on Crawford, so he's heading out. Robbie Moss comes in.
Crawford had a game he'd like to forget against UAB. He was 1 for 8, only 3 points in that one. Guy that's been playing very well. Good hands by Sparks.
Yep, he forced the steal. Back to him. Rondo with the assist. Transition though. It's Rudy Gay slamming it down.
Well, Perry is an excellent leaper, but you can see what Gay can do there. A good 1.5 over the top of it.
Inside Morris.
That was some catch by Randolph Morris. That ball was thrown down below his waist. There you can see Perry had designs of going up there and trying to close that. You can see what he did when he realized how high up in the air Rudy Gay was.
Foul on Rudy Gay at the other end, though, as Morris, you said it, Billy. Good hands that time. Able to hold on. He'll shoot a couple.
Had all kinds of problems with foul trouble against UAB. Only got to play 17 minutes in the game the other night. Best game in postseason so far was the opening round of the SEC tournament. 7 for 8, 17 points.
Well, again, he didn't join this team until midseason, humbled by an off-season experience that, well, took the path to nowhere, trying to test the waters. There's Adrian with the jumper for UConn, coming right in and hitting the shot.
Don't you get the feeling in this game early that Kentucky is just outmatched in size considerably? It just doesn't seem possible.
Perry, tangled bodies. Armstrong, this will be his second. He was arm for arm with Morris, and it's going to go against the UConn player. His second.
Well, this is one thing about Connecticut that I don't feel any team in the country can afford like they can. Armstrong, defensive player in the year in the Big East. So what do they do? Replace him with Josh Boone, who was the defensive player of the year last year in the Big East. They are at every position well covered.
Too bad they can't go back one more year for the defensive player of the year.
Okafor. Well, it wouldn't help him this year with the injuries he's had.
Morris too strong, and there's the snag by Rashad Anderson, who's just arrived on the floor for UConn.
Anderson has been very quiet of late.
Well, he was particularly quiet against Albany, but that doesn't happen too often. Second leading scorer. Good dish. Marcus Williams underneath the cylinder. Adrian fouled on the way up, and he'll be shooting. That's on Ravi Moss.
Game is 8-8, but you get the feeling that Connecticut is getting their baskets much easier.
Connecticut with only 3 losses on the year. 28-3. The losses to Marquette, Syracuse, and on this floor, they lost to Villanova when they were ranked #1. Didn't play them over at the Pavilion on the Villanova campus. They played them here, and they were defeated when they were #1.
Largest crowd ever to see a ball game in Pennsylvania that night. I think that crowd can be overcome today, Jim, with everybody here to want to see the 2 Big East teams play.
Well, I'll tell you what, don't overestimate how many people from Kentucky found a way to get a ticket in here, too. They travel so well. And
Jim, you're talking about those losses. That game at Marquette, considering the margin, the way Marquette won that ball game and where Connecticut was at that time, that's been one of the most surprising scores of the year.
Shigari Aline, big 7-2 center for Kentucky. Number 21 is in. Sheree Thomas as well, 23.
Aline did a nice job in limited minutes the other night.
UConn has brought in Greg Austrie, freshman guard, who is defending here on Rondo. Rondo driving and testing him. And the rebound out to Thomas. Sparks.
Tough pass.
Bosses it back out, and that's going to Connecticut. Good hustle, but it's going to be UConn ball out of the break.
Smart play by Moss to hang on to that ball, take it out of bounds. If he'd thrown it, Connecticut had a layup.
8-8. 2 to the regional. So does the Missouri Valley Conference. And if you saw our selection show last week, you saw us call into question about the Missouri Valley's 4-team presence in the field, but they have proven to be quite meritorious with those performances by both Bradley and Wichita State onto the regionals. I guess our words didn't really play well in Peoria as Bradley came up with a big win today over Pitt. And UConn gets the 3.
Big basket for Anderson, who has been extremely quiet. And Jim, those victories are really impressive too. Bradley beating the #4 Kansas and #5 Pitt, 2 teams that I thought going into this tournament may go a long, long way. Of course, Wichita with that win over Seton Hall, and then #2 Tennessee. Impressive victories.
Rondo scoring at the other end, and the steal by Ramel Bradley of Kentucky. Looking for Shigari Aline. Backing in on Boone. Kicks it back out to Bradley.
Kentucky being very patient with the ball. Oh, foul, nothing called.
Adrian comes out with it for Connecticut.
And the referees did check before this game Bradley's bandage on his wrist.
Ball, Rashad Anderson with the second 3.
Jim Anderson was 0 for 3 against Albany. He was 2 for 11 for threes against Syracuse. So what a great sign for Jim Calhoun to see the dagger man back in action.
So Rashad Anderson coming off the bench and hitting a couple of quick threes for Connecticut. Put him up 4. Bradley trying to get one for the Cats. And there's Anderson with the rebound.
Anderson's had 2 big rebounds, 2 shots so far. Without question, the #1 sixth man in college basketball.
There he is again, not this time.
A little anxious.
Rondo crashes in underneath, as he so often does. Double-figure rebounds on Friday night. Takes it all the way and back to the rim. But back out with it to Moss for 3. And a couple of Kentucky players mix it up. And they call it on Rondo. Craig Littlepage is here, the chair of the committee. We were just talking about how well the Missouri Valley has played in the tournament, and spoke to Chairman Littlepage before the tip, and he said, you know, we were just trying to tell people last week with the bracketing and selections, there are a lot of people out there that can play basketball that maybe you haven't heard of. And I will say this about the committee too, you know, their last at larges, when you look by seeds that had to have gotten in because they were 13 seeds, George Mason and Bradley. Bradley's won 2 games, and George Mason upset Michigan State playing North Carolina at the moment, so kudos to them for those picks.
Here's that zone by Kentucky. Devin Brown, Williams, the best shooters on the floor right now. Connecticut decides to win style.
Ed Nelson, offensive glass, and heading to the line.
Aline to stay on the floor. Nelson, not a great leaper. It's the kind of guy that you can wait till the last second to try to block this shot. Nelson on the inside. He's going to pump fake, pump fake. You've got to stay down on the floor.
And Aline's first foul, so Ed Nelson to shoot 2. How about the way this tournament has unfolded, though, the first 4 days?
It's been amazing, and you know, that first round, a lot of teams that really struggled, Jim, that played so well the week before in their postseason conference tournaments. The Iowas, the Kansases, the Syracuse. It's kind of amazing what it took out of them, obviously, in the first round of the tournament, taking nothing away from the teams that beat them. But you go from a moment where you're just so proud of yourself winning a conference championship, particularly the way they did it, and then find yourself home in one day.
Yeah, we're going to get you to the tip of that game if it's in your local area, expecting Northwestern State, West Virginia. But in the meantime, Kentucky and Connecticut on the floor for the first time ever in a matchup. Brandon Stockton tries the 3, hit one the other night, not this time. But it's Thomas getting a new 35 for the Cats.
Not a lot of pressure on the ball by Connecticut, allowing Kentucky to set up whatever that they want. Perry being played by a bigger man. It's unusual for him to see that.
Bobby Perry hasn't scored after his career-high 25 Friday night in the win against UAB, and the Huskies forced the turnover.
Well, Perry's very athletic, but in Gay, he's playing a bigger man that's just, if not more, athletic.
Sparks coming back in. And as we continue to kind of give an overview of the tournament, how about the ACC, undefeated, and yet the Big Ten with only one team left, Ohio State, playing later today.
Now, Jim, one of the things about the tournament, it is the ultimate report card. Opinions don't matter when you put it on the floor with that many teams. Big East, the Big Ten, good examples. There's Gay again, just so tall. He's shooting right over the top.
Gay took only 5 shots on Friday night, but UConn, right from the opening tip here, showing a lot more confidence and ambition, it seems, today, too, Billy. Playing lackluster basketball the last 3 games. UConn on a little 6-0 run here.
There's an example. See, Perry with Gay just can't get that shot off. There's a walk. You don't want to take the ball into the center of that UConn defense. 5 years in a row, the best shot blocking team in the country.
Timeout on the floor. Huskies leading by 7.
That was an awesome show.
Awesome.
Hey, would you mind?
No problem.
Me too. So, are you the bass player or the drummer?
I'm not in the band. I'm just here for the Bud Light. Who's pen?
Friday night, what about this Kentucky squad, 06?
Well, they lost 3 in a row twice this year. They lost 7 SEC games, very unusual for Kentucky. But still, here they find themselves, second round of the NCAA tournament. But they're up against, I think, a much superior foe today.
Rudy Gay hits another jumper, and since Armstrong went to the bench with 2 fouls, UConn has responded out their center, 11-2 run, an 11-2 stretch, and Kentucky turns it over. Morris never able to pick it up cleanly. Up ahead, Boone.
Boone had to dump into Nelson. Nelson doing a job in there, just powering things around. he will go on the floor, sacrifice his body. And Jim, we're talking about a guy that come in the game, steal some minutes for Jim Calhoun, pick up some fouls, and as you saw right there, can aggressively rebound and get the opposing team center in some trouble.
Nelson out.
And look at how Jim Calhoun's applauding him. He did exactly what his coach asked of him. Former ACC Rookie of the Year when he was at Georgia Tech.
Had to sit out as a transfer of their championship year of 04. Anderson, he's got the shooting touch today.
It's a shame it took him so long to square up on that pass. His feet were already set before he caught the ball. It's a mark of a great shooter. Catch it off and shoot it off the pass.
He's got 9 on the game.
3 for 3. No, he's 3 for 4 out there.
That's right. Perry for the first time today on the board.
Good cut. Nobody back.
Adrian, 4, is it possible? Yes.
Well, when he gets in these kind of streaks, you have got to go out and make him put the ball on the floor, even if it's bad defense. Just rush right at him.
Morris bouncing it over to Thomas, pinned inside and tipped around over to Adrian. He's just a freshman.
And boy, how about when you put Nelson down? You've got Armstrong on the bench. You put Nelson down. You bring in Adrian. No drop off whatsoever.
Anderson one more time.
That was a good job by Perry. See, he ran right at him, took away the jump shot.
Gay with the steal. He put up a tough shot. Rondo comes running out with it. Flips it ahead to Perry. Boom, crashes and picks up his second foul.
We're seeing a Connecticut team that is focused. There is no question about it. This is the best team in the country.
When it plays like this.
When they're focused, they prove it.
And you hadn't seen that in a while.
No, you often watch them when they're in kind of a malaise. They come to practice and they're being ridden by a guy that knows how to drive a team, but it's kind of like a personality situation. But when they get focused and put out, we saw that in Indiana where they'd go in there and show what they can do, and then sometimes, and this is what Kentucky has to hope for, sometimes when they get off the big leads like this, then they kind of go back to sleep and give them a chance to get back in the ballgame. But if they keep this kind of focus going, and they're doing this without Armstrong in the ballgame, he's only played a few minutes.
Denham Brown in for Anderson, and Perry hits 2 for 2. He has now made, Bobby Perry, 23 straight free throws. He was 10 for 10 on Friday night. Over the top they go to Nelson.
Kentucky's allowing that pass time after time, Jim. Kind of dangerous.
Gay will put up a 3. Morris stands his ground, clears for the Wildcats. Rondo left open.
When you bring Denham Brown in and take Anderson out, does it make any difference? You still got a wing player that can shoot it and throw it up.
And drive it. Over, it's rejected.
Morris.
And Kentucky brings in Sims. Coming up, singular at the half with Greg Clark and Seth with the live look-ins and action elsewhere. You'll see the likes of Memphis, updates on Carolina's performance, West Virginia just getting in action, all that coming up. Singular at the half plus a singular Naismith update.
Jim, one thing Kentucky can do, they can throw some bodies out there. They've got 10 guys that play almost 11 minutes a game, so Tubby Smith will use that bench. Here they are back in that zone.
Gay. 2 players in his face. There's Nelson again, trying to get it out, but Sims holds on to it for Kentucky.
Pretty good job of attacking the ball by Brown. Here's Perry, that's what he likes. Open shot.
Missing on the 3. Austrie, the freshman, lobs up to Adrian, the other freshman. Second chance, yes.
Jim, you know what was the problem? Gay had pointed out to Austrie that he was ready for the lob. Austrie threw that ball, in effect, to Gay, but it's intercepted by Adrian.
His own teammate.
Yeah.
Boy, it's a 13-point lead for the Huskies. Turnaround, Morris. And he'll save it to Rondo.
Here's where Rondo's game. He's a tremendous penetrator, but he's got to start being able to pull up and take some jump shots because being played in this game, particularly for all penetration Nice job by Randolph Morris.
Morris off the glass. And he now has 6.
Morris is slow getting back down floor, and that's why Connecticut has been able to throw some of those long passes. He's got to get back down and recognize what's behind him.
Brown stepping in. And like you said, you take Anderson out. You put Brown in. Brown, of course, is the starter of the two. The two of them know how to score.
Well, you can't play Brown like you can play Anderson. Brown will give you that pump fake and go by. Anderson more than likely is going to just take the jumper and not drive by. So you've got to play them differently.
Working a two-man game. Now Morris brings it over to Rondo. 7 minutes to go in the half. Down 29-16. Moss.
Long rebound.
Rondo. Yes.
He loves that shot.
Such a great sensibility of where the ball's going to go off the miss.
He is. He's one of the great rebounding guards, and he's got that little floating shot. He needs to get the short-range jumper and a 3 from make himself a really total ball player. Because he can handle it with anybody.
He really can. I'll tell you, I'm really impressed by Rondo's play this week in Philadelphia.
And he's got 161 assists on the year, only 76 turnovers, so you know what kind of ball. Wide open.
Yep, up ahead to Rondo. Brown trying to catch up, but not in time.
Bad floor balance that time by Connecticut.
8 for Rondo.
Austrie has to understand he's got to be back there. Can't afford to be caught inside the foul line. Kentucky doing a nice job getting back into this ball game here.
Adrian hit on the way up on the act of shooting.
That could be. Is that Rondo's second? He had the little reach-in foul before.
It is 2 on Rondo. Kentucky looking around. They know they've got UConn playing with confidence and focus today. It's 29-20. Connecticut, Jim Nance and Billy Packer with Villanova and Arizona on the floor later. A battle of Wildcats.
We've got 3 out of 4 here today.
Huh?
Jim, you know, isn't it hard to believe, and this is what makes the NCAA tournament so great. You've got Connecticut out here looking like world beaters. Just the other night, it was 50-38 with 11:34 to go. Albany in control of the game. Jamar Wilson looking like one of the great guards we've seen in the NCAA tournament. And then Connecticut went on that 17-2 run. But I'll tell you what, in watching that game, I realized at 116, I really thought for a second or two.
I've never seen you so excited.
And I'll tell you something else. If it wasn't for the fact that we no longer, you have the shot clock now. If it was in the old days, I think Albany would have been the first 16 to win a ball at all.
That young coach, Will Brown, 34 years old. What a job by the coach and his team. They had the country mesmerized for a while there, that's for sure. Sparks 3.
It's the second wide open look he's had. He's got to hit those shots for Kentucky to stay in this thing.
Gay up high for the rebound, and Williams tried to thread it inside, tapped out by Kentucky, and Rashad Anderson returns.
Remember how this game started with Connecticut running a very disciplined half-court set. They've gotten away from that now. That's one of the things that Williams is going to have to bring his team back to. Even though Kentucky's been playing a lot of zone. Sometimes because of their talent, shots look like they're too easy to come by. There's the zone.
Anderson with 4 threes, this one a 2, and good again. Now with 14 points, 20 of UConn's 32, in fact, have come from the bench, thanks to Anderson in large part.
And that's now 19-0. Here's where Williams is so tough.
Got the pass over to Gay, and the foul. CBS Sportsline, your destination for complete tournament coverage, bracket updates, video highlights, expert analysis for each tournament game. CBSSportsline.com.
Jim, Tubby Smith has gone to the zone primarily because he knows he's got a real tough mismatch for Sparks. No matter who he gets set up with, because he's not going to be the guy quick enough to be out there with Williams at the point guard. When he guards either of those wings, he goes up against a Denham Brown or an Anderson, and they just shoot right over the top of him.
Milton out, Adrian in. So many different interchangeable parts for Connecticut. And Aline comes in for Sims. And you said it, Billy, Aline gave them some good minutes on Friday night.
Aline is very effective when he goes against a team that doesn't have the size, and he can play right over the top of them, get some, 2-3 rebounds, block a shot. He can effectively catch the ball in the low post, but against this club right here, see, even when Gay switches over on him, it's not like he has a big advantage.
Perry weaving around and getting the roll.
Use that upper body very well. Oh, there's Sparks, a smart play.
Quick 4 for Kentucky.
And look at that pass.
Down to Adrian. Wild shot pulled down by Morris.
And here's where Connecticut tries to make big plays, allows Kentucky come right back in this game. That was a smart play by Sparks.
Kentucky has not hit a 3 in this half. They're 0 for 8. Been a big difference here with Anderson's success on the other side.
Morris has his advantage with strength.
Oh, and he uses it.
Yep. Good recognition by Randolph Morris. Nice job by Kentucky.
Timeout Connecticut. 6 points in a hurry. 6-0 run. Get Kentucky back within 7. And Kentucky trying to advance to the D.C. Regional, where the Washington Huskies are already in after its victory over Illinois and Wichita State. UConn ball, and Jim Calhoun took the timeout, did not wait for the under 4 television break because his team is starting to let it slip away. 6 quick points by Kentucky.
And look at who's in the game. Hilton Armstrong's back in the ball game. Williams takes it to the hoop. He's got that little glide. Oh, whoa, whoa.
Wow, that's going to be...
No, that ball might have been technically... the referee is going to be able to stand on the fact that it was technically inside the cylinder, but it had to be 1/8 of the ball.
Morris just thought he had a clean rebound.
Let's take a look at this, and I thought he did too. Oh, man.
Wow. They'll give the basket to Connecticut. Timeout on the floor in Philadelphia.
He's got it.
Yes! Hey, let's order a pizza. Make it a thin crust.
You got it.
As well as he hits the boards, graduating in just 3.5 years. For more on all the Senior Class Award finalists, log on to cbssportsline.com/seniorclass.
Well, the biggest difference here, Billy, is the 20-0 bulge here for Connecticut off the bench. And that last basket interference, watch the sphere now. Is it any part of it over the rim?
If any portion of that ball is in that cylinder, that ball then, and technically the official is on the mark. He can make a case for himself. I don't think the ball had any chance to go back in, but technically the official was right. Awful close.
Big Kentucky lineup. The lean over to Morris. He had to travel. He did.
Well, it is very difficult with all those bodies in there. Randolph Morris has to recognize if Aline's going to give him that ball, he's going to catch and go right up to the basket. There's not going to be any time to gather yourself. That's a pretty difficult combination. Aline with that look that he has that high up. Kentucky matching up again. They're 1-2-2 zone. You've got Morris and Aline in the back. A lot of talking, which is necessary in a matchup zone. Kentucky's done a pretty good job.
Anderson will square it up.
Nice job.
Wide of the mark off the back of the rim from the corner. Sparks with a 3, and Kentucky has the 3-point basket.
Great follow through, and here again, it's amazing how often been able to throw the ball, and that's going to be an intentional foul on Sparks. But there's no way Sparks makes the 3. Bradley's got to get back on that shot. Stop Gabe from going length of court. No question that was an intentional foul.
And the first on Sparks. He had just made the first triple of the day for Kentucky, first out of 9, but they'll have Gay at the line for free throws, and UConn will inbound.
And Sparks has to realize he had no chance on that play. We saw Gay finish one off earlier in the ball game. So if you're Sparks, you have no way to go up there. Just let him have the shot. As I just said, Jim, 2+ possession here.
Rudy Gay, the first team All Big East sophomore from Baltimore. And I'll tell you, you saw a more focused UConn team on the floor at the very start, but Coach Calhoun had some rather tart remarks about his team after that performance against Albany, and some of them aimed, in fact, at Rudy Gay. Looks like this team listened in, got the message.
There's a lean again. Big target inside.
Working on Armstrong, and just too strong with a little shot.
Kentucky does a much better job getting back on defense that time. Good
Sparks. Boy, Sparks put his hands up, got the steal, and forced the foul on Marcus Williams.
That was a terrific job by Kentucky getting back on defense, and it paid off for him. Jim, this is Sparks' 4th NCAA tournament. You know, we forget about the 2 years he played at Western Kentucky.
Yep.
So, you know, a real veteran. His birthday was on Friday night. So this guy is a veteran of NCAA tournament play. And played extremely well at Western Kentucky in the NCAA tournament.
Yes, he did. And you go back to his days with the Hilltoppers. He's got a consecutive start streak now that's approaching 120 with his 2 careers at Western and with the Wildcats. Short on the 3 and over the back, UConn ball.
As the way things were going for Kentucky, getting that ball inside and then kicking out. Bradley would have been smart to continue with that pattern. Kentucky's been successful with it.
Watch this kid now inbounding the ball. The freshman guard for the Huskies, Austrie, who's out of Stamford, Connecticut. It was interesting when we visited with Calhoun after the win against Albany. He gave a lot of the credit to Austrie for the victory.
Well, I give a lot of credit to Jim Calhoun for finally coming up in that game with a combination on the floor that would work. And he played both guards, Williams and Austrie, and that really got him back in there. But it's amazing that we're even talking about it.
They talk about his defensive play.
This strategy to beat Albany.
Yep. Never thought you would be saying it. Brown.
2 men on him, fadeaway jump shot, and still buries it.
Tell you, within a few days of March, you go back the last 4 regular season games for Denham Brown. When he heard the call for crunch time and the end of his college career, Denham Brown has just taken it up, not just a notch, maybe a couple of notches. He has been outstanding. Carey gets Gay to commit, steps up, and Gay with the rebound. Brown's breaking early. And there he is, scoring 2 more.
Good job by Gabe. He knew Brown could finish. Terrific hit-ahead pass.
Under a minute to play in the half, and UConn by a dozen.
Well, Jim, you mentioned Denham Brown. He was one of the shining lights in that tough loss in the Big East tournament to Syracuse with 20 points, 4 of 8 threes that night.
Bradley made a nice move, missed with the left hand, and UConn sloppy on the outlet passes, coming back to the Cats, who can, if they want, save it for the last shot. Win an NCAA-related prize every 35 seconds at mycokerewards.com/NCAA. And a timeout, a quick one by Tubby and the Wildcats. And we'll come back for the closing seconds of the first half, see what Kentucky can do with that possession when we return to Philadelphia.
Between my 2 phone bills, it's probably about $60 a month.
About $150.
Probably $100 a month.
With Vonage, you get unlimited calls to anywhere in the U.S. and Canada, and all the cool features you could ever want are included. And it's just $24.99 a month.
Call 1-800-399-1355 and get your first month free. This offer is also available online and at these fine retailers.
Vonage, leading the internet phone revolution.
Connecticut flexing its March muscles today and leading by 12, but Kentucky will come out with Thomas on the floor, Sparks and Bradley, two big guys, Morris and Aline.
I know that Rondo has some foul trouble, but in this situation, you'd love to have him out there on the floor to go ahead and penetrate and kick out the Sparks. Hang on to this ball for the last shot. You don't want to give Connecticut another possession.
Sparks with Marcus Williams defending.
If he's going to be the guy. Oh, he makes it.
The lean almost got in the way. He thought about putting a hand on it.
I think what happened, I think Williams figured he was going to keep holding it and enabled Sparks to beat him. A veteran, nice job.
Yeah, great job by Sparks. Now the Huskies with under 4. Williams trying to answer back, and he does.
Left-hander. Two terrific plays by guards to end the half.
That's the end of the first half with the score. Connecticut 43, Kentucky 31. CBS Sports exclusive coverage continues after this message and a word from your local station.
All he ever wanted was to make his dad proud.
I gotta do something great so my dad doesn't think I'm such a loser.
In 2 days, he's about to get his chance.
We've got a planet to save.
Disney's #1 animated movie.
That's my boy!
Chicken Little on Disney DVD this Tuesday.
Class of '94, here I come.
When you want to make a good impression, Enterprise Rent-A-Car will pick you up free and get you going in style.
Looking good, Moose.
Pick Enterprise. We'll pick you up.
Go higher, baby. Higher, baby. Come on, higher.
Catch all the action on The King of Queens, CBS Monday.
Pro athletes with attention deficit disorder. Why it's a bigger problem than you may think. Monday. See why more people are watching the CBS Evening News with Bob Schieffer.
2.5 Men. Monday on CBS. America's most watched network.
You're gonna die tonight.
How do you feel knowing that?
Boy who died?
He was buried alive 26 years ago. They buried him with this.
They found fresh dirt on the shovel.
There is another boy.
This boy's.
Forget it. Here we go. David Noel inside scoring. And then Bobby Frazier going to find Noel. He's not defended. That's a warm-up jumper that he takes advantage of. 16-2 Tar Heels, and then Tony Skinn finally gets George Mason the field goal, banking the 3, but George Mason's defense got him back in it.
27-20 is the score. Winner there plays Wichita State. They're coming out onto the floor for the start of the second half. Let's join Gus Johnson and Len Elmore.
Carolina has the ball to start the second half, up by 7. Bobby Frazier in the backcourt, Terry, Wes Miller, Noel, and Tyler Hansbrough.
George Mason, we talked about the 2-3 zone they played in the first half, come out here in man-to-man, extended man-to-man trapping. And at the beginning of the telecast, we talked about the team that extends and can force some turnovers can win this ball game.
Hansbrough inside, has it knocked away, picked up on the baseline by Campbell. Carolina led by 14 in the first half. Butler, reverse layup, goes down. He has 4 points, and in the first meeting between these teams in 2003, Butler from Oxon Hill, Maryland, broke his foot in the first 3 minutes of the game as Noel throws it away, intended for Terry. 6 turnovers for Carolina.
Well, George Mason not getting the production that they did in the first-round game from their 2 big guys. As I mentioned before, both of them are combined 3 of 11 from the field, only 6 points. George Mason's got to have both Thomas and Jai Lewis involved offensively to put pressure on that Carolina defense.
Here's Lewis rolling in the basket. Beautifully done. Good call, partner.
Right on time.
Now Lewis, 2 of 7 from the field, 4 points. And a kick ball. Vote for the Pontiac game-changing performance of this round. Nearly $150,000 of scholarship contributions on the line. Vote now at ncaasports.com/Pontiac. North Carolina a 3. George Mason and 11.
And again, you see Carolina looking inside, making a concerted effort to get the ball at least in Hansbrough's hand, and Tyler has to respond rather than turn it over.
Hansbrough with 8 points in the first half, 4 of 9 shooting, 6 rebounds. Carolina has now turned it over 7 times.
And that was one of the keys for Carolina. They've got to value the ball. You can't afford to turn it over against an opportunistic team like George Mason, the underdog that feels as though they have nothing to lose.
Lewis wheeling on the baseline, out of bounds. 5 turnovers for the Patriots. Jim Larrañaga, 10 years as the head coach at Bowling Green here in the state of Ohio. Ball deflected. Lewis, great hands. Look at him bring it up the floor. Nice pass. And Norwood makes it home. Patriots within 1.
And again, George Mason out of that zone, extended D, looking to double the ball when he goes to the side.
And another steal. Campbell. Mason with the lead. They were shaky to start. Different story at the beginning of the second half. George Mason counterpunching with a 1-point lead.
All right there, 5 possessions in this half, 5 turnovers for Carolina. And if I'm Roy Williams, I'd be screaming at these guys too. That is not the way you want to start a half. And again, against a team that's one of the top defensive teams in the nation. 9th in field goal percentage D and 13th in points allowed.
There's that trap again. Hansbrough to Noel, and he dribbled it out of bounds.
All right, we got 6 turnovers and 6 possessions. And Roy Williams now has the scream encouragement. You know, you tear your team down, but at some point you got to build them up. And I think Roy recognizes this is that point.
Lewis slipping in a basketball for an offensive foul. Terrific job by Hansbrough. And Hansbrough with some words for Noel. Let's go. The winner of this game will take on Wichita State, who upset Tennessee, knocking off the 2nd-seeded Volunteers. How do you beat this trap, Lenny?
Well, you need somebody who can do just what Bobby Fraser did, beat the top line off the bounce, force that back line to step up, and the wings to contract to help. And you wind up kicking to somebody for a jump shot. You got to be able to do that, get them out of that trap.
Rayshon Terry posing for a picture after hitting that jump shot. Roy Williams almost jumped onto the court to get him in position.
But they missed the back door by Norwood, had beaten his man on the baseline.
Butler, 6 to shoot. Butler, quick little guard, gets to the rack. We're tied at 30.
Well, that's the athleticism of George Mason. Now they're in the game. Now they're playing with a great deal of confidence. It's bad news for North Carolina.
Jim Larrañaga said that the North Carolina fans think their guys are supermen, but we know that we're kryptonite. Here comes Campbell. And a blocking foul called against Fraser. And watch Roy Williams after Rayshon Terry posed for a picture after hitting this shot.
Teams first. Well, I tell you what, at this point, at this time, as important as this game is, to lose focus for that is unbelievable.
Following Campbell at the line for George Mason, shooting 2.
Unbelievable.
Rayshon Terry, though, so talented, 6'8" junior from Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Campbell hits the first. Critics say the new adventures of Old Christine is laugh out loud funny. Julia Louis-Dreyfus stars in the #1 new hit comedy right after a new 2.5 Men tomorrow on CBS, America's #1 network. Mason by 2.
And Gus Danny Green came in for Rayshon Terry. Roy Williams didn't even glance at Terry as he walked back onto the bench.
Hansbrough double team, splits the D. Gets to the bucket, lost it. Lewis is hurt. The big fella hobbling up the floor. And a timeout call by Mason. Campbell hitting the deck. Now Hansbrough falls. It's getting a little rough out there. Mason by 2. Did it today again at the bottom of your screen, knocking off Pittsburgh today. Wichita State shocking Tennessee, and Washington over Illinois. And what do we have here? Can Coach Jim Larrañaga's Patriots knock off the 3rd-seeded Tar Heels from North Carolina?
We mentioned early that George Mason is not awed with Carolina. Back in December of '03, they met Carolina. Lewis, Skin, Butler were on that team. George Mason observed a 34-point loss. I think those guys remember it.
Foul coming up on Hansbrough, his 2nd 2-point game. Back after this.
20-0 in regard to what Kentucky got off of their bench. Kentucky, much as they did in the UAB game, shooting of only 37%. In that UAB game, the first half, they shot 24%. Kentucky bench 0 for 9. Got to get some production there because this Connecticut team is so deep. During that 25th anniversary, I'll never forget that Final Four. Obviously, the day of the final game, President Reagan had been shot. He came over to the arena, didn't know whether the game was even going to be played. Wayne Duke stepped up as the chairman of the committee and made all the decisions. And eventually the game was played based on the fact that they said that the president said, there's no place I'd rather be in Philadelphia. And years went by, realized that was not true at all.
How about that? Perry, three-pointer to open the half.
Good movement by Kentucky.
How did you feel that day? Did you think the game should have been played?
I had no idea the significance of the shooting, and now that we know in history it was so serious, you were waiting, and that was the decision. They're going to wait on the report of whether the president was out of trouble. We know now that he was not out of trouble, but that was not the report that came.
Steal by Sparks.
Can he finish? Yes, he can. Nice job by Sparks to pull that ball back. And look at Kentucky picking up full court. Nice start of the second half.
Boy, is it ever. 5 right out of the locker room for Kentucky, uncontested.
And you know, Connecticut stayed in that locker room a long time here. Kentucky was probably out a good 5 minutes before Connecticut ever hit the floor.
Gay misses. Morris. Up to Rondo. 3-on-2. Nice. Perry, beautiful pass. Had it right where it had to be. Bounced it right up to him.
Timeout, Connecticut. Kentucky just coming out here, and we've said time after time, Connecticut sometimes just does not get in focus even when they look like they're in control.
The Cats come back to start the second half. Night, starting the 2 halves against Albany, it was 9-3 Albany out of the first half. They were on a 13-3 start to the second half. UConn had the edge at the beginning of today, but now 7-0 here, so they have again come out of the locker room 3 out of the 4 times here uninspired. They bring in Rashad Anderson to try to change things, and he feeds Hilton Armstrong, and a 3-point opportunity on the way.
Armstrong, who had to sit most of that first half with foul trouble, was serious about that play. Peekskill, New York prospect, Big East Defensive Player of the Year, was not to be denied here.
Well, they all ran out after Anderson, who after all had 14 points in the first half.
But that's the way to guard him, Jim. Run right at him, make him put the ball on the floor or pass it.
Foul on Perry was his first.
Remember, there was another Peekskill product that had a day that he'd like to forget when he had to go up against Connecticut. Elton Brand from Duke.
In the 99 championship game. They're out of the same high school. Hilton Armstrong had a Peekskill. Nice. Oh, and the missed lay-in by Morris. He was fed perfectly.
He sure was. Ronald put that right up in the perfect position.
Anderson wide this time. Morris had it knocked out of his hands by Boone, but it's off Boone.
Now, if you're scouting against Connecticut, one of the things I just saw right there, when Anderson shoots, he has a tendency to stand still. The guy guarding him was Sparks, who took off at the other end. Marcus Williams, normally on a penetrating kick, that would mean Sparks would be wide open. His big men ought to be thinking about that and look for an immediate long pass.
Rondo fakes the pass inside, goes back out. Sparks driving, and beautiful soft touch.
That's the second floater that Sparks has made. He made that one to end the half.
Over the top, and Perry whistled for a second. 2 of them real quick here in this half.
Grabbed the jersey.
Boone was shut out in the first half.
He sure was, Jim. No factor in that ball game.
So UConn in underneath.
Boone was 1 for 11 in that Syracuse loss in the Big East tournament. He's got Perry keeps grabbing his jersey every time Boone moves. Here you have Rondo and Williams, 2 guys who've known each other since they were kids, played on the same.
Boone blocked. Gay, he's not going to be blocked. Reaches out, extends, and just drops it in. Yeah, there's some familiarity there, Billy, with the guards.
Yep, no, they're not guarding up with each other right now. Beautiful. Oh, Rondo, so quick.
He lost it. Anderson kind of helped force it up ahead. Gay lowers the shoulder, does a little flip move, soft hook for 2 more.
Rudy Gay having an outstanding ball game. That first half, he had those kind of numbers when you take a look at him in terms of points, assists, rebounds, blocks, and steals right across the board. 3 rebounds, 9 points, 3 assists, 2 steals, 1 block.
Crawford put up the 3 and barely grazed the front of the rim.
Stop that dribbler soon.
Armstrong coming in. Ball just sitting on the floor. It's Crawford. And he is fouled by Gay of Connecticut. For Gay now, his second. 10-point lead here, 50-40 Huskies.
Calhoun screaming, wanted to jump ball situation, but Rudy Gay had one hand on the ball, but with no question he had the other hand on that arm. Official was right on. It's the same official that called that offensive goaltend before, but I think he was right on both calls.
Sparks, tough launching, beautiful. Patrick Sparks.
One of those seniors that does not want to play his last game, it looks like.
He had a stretch during the middle of the year where he had a hard time making anything, and he told Tubby, please don't give up on me. Short, Armstrong, there's Rondo.
Well, remember last year, the 3 foul shots that beat Louisville, and then, of course, that Michigan State play.
Well, Rondo was losing it, and that one, a turnover to Connecticut. Vote for the Pontiac game-changing performance of this round. Nearly $150,000 of scholarship contributions is on the line. Vote now at ncaasports.com/Pontiac. Adrian in for Connecticut, number 4. And Denham Brown on the floor also with Marcus Williams, Josh Boone, and Rudy Gay.
There you see Rondo and Williams matched up out there. It was interesting when Connecticut went to play at Louisville. Williams got Rondo some tickets. That was nice of him, aren't they? Teammates on that World Under-21 team. They don't have any love for each other right now in this game.
Denham Brown, no ball. Adrian, turn around, and Morris, good piece of rebounding. Surrounded by players, but looks like the foul's going against Kentucky and going against Perry, and he's got 3, all of them in this half.
With as much banging in there, you gotta let him play a little bit.
Kentucky starts out hot in the half. They've cut the lead to 7 since the intermission. Lob it, Boone, too strong with the shot. Perry tries to save it right into the arms of Brown.
Not the place to throw it. You got to throw that long down the other end.
Marcus Williams.
He is so clever when he does that, isn't he?
Really is.
Pump fake. He stays under control. He's got that big, strong body.
And he's able to slither his way either for the open to create an open pass or an open shot. Very smooth.
He's always under control.
Morris.
And there's where Morris is doing the right thing. He's catching now and going immediately to the basket. But he's out of position.
Gay, he's not going to miss that one. All day long, they keep throwing it right over the top of Kentucky, something I'm sure they saw scouting him this last 48 hours.
Yeah, and that was Morris's fault. He started to run back down the court, and he stopped at the top of the key and allowed that action to take place. You can't score and not get to the other end.
Crawford working the baseline, nowhere to go.
Nice play and help on the weak side from Ed Nelson, who's given some nice solid minutes for Connecticut today.
Denham Brown.
You see who else? Morris again was late getting down court. He's not that big factor in the middle to stop that play. He's not hustling at all from end to end.
Timeout Kentucky. Which just seems hard to believe.
You know, Jim, when those kind of things happen, you would think that they just get together and say, hey, you know, these are 2 of the top programs, and let's just play somewhere. Go to Madison Square Garden and play a game. It's hard to believe that that could take place, particularly after the way, you know, Kentucky has always been the #1 program in college basketball, and Connecticut has made a great mark here in the last 15 or so years. Kentucky, matter of fact, today's got a chance to win their 100th NCAA tournament game. Nobody.
But it's more, they get more appearances, more wins.
Yep, they lead in that. They're #1 in everything. But that'd be a good game.
Not in championships.
No, not in championships. John Wooden, thank you, took over in that regard.
Lob it, and Morris, and a foul outside, first on Nelson.
Nelson trying to hang on to Morris, but Morris a little bit too tall for him. Nice job in Kentucky looking inside.
First on Nelson, and Adrian Impressive looking Husky. And certainly he brings a lot of power and promise, does Jeff Adrian, freshman from Brookline, Massachusetts. Jim Calhoun calls him the surprise of the Big East. What a find. Rondo out high to Perry.
Crawford, who has not been able to get on track.
Rondo, Morris. And Morris with the offensive glass, and he was held by Adrian.
I realize Morris is being guarded by a lot of different people today, but he is doing a good job in there. His only fault is not being able to get up and down the court, but maybe he's a little tired.
I was going to say, Billy, I really think there's got to be a fatigue factor weighed into that. He's got all of these big bodies that keep coming in for UConn, and he stands alone most of the time underneath. Crawford tried to get it to him, and it was picked off.
Crawford had a lane that time to go all the way to the hoop. But see Morris again, slow getting down court. Maybe he's just exhausted. And if you're Connecticut, you want to play on that. Have your big guys running as fast as they can for some uncontested layups.
Wraparound pass. Armstrong hits the little jumper.
There again, Williams under such control when he dribbles in traffic. Morris open.
UConn has matched its largest lead, 13. Tonight on 60 Minutes, most American cities rely on the feds for protection from terrorism, not New York. What's happening instead? That story on 60 Minutes tonight. Austria in for Williams. Austria, who had to start the first half of the season and as a true freshman, and boy did he respond, including helping lead his team to the win over in Maui to win that tournament with a bunch of good teams meeting over there.
He had 15 against the team we'll be seeing on the floor here next, against playing against Arizona. And Jimmy also set a freshman record. When you figure all the great guards that have been in the Connecticut program, he set the record of 14 assists against Quinnipiac. So quite an accomplishment for this young man. Player of the year in his state.
Anderson comes in for Rudy Gay as UConn takes over after the 5-second violation. Kentucky unable to inbound.
You can see that scouting report on Anderson. Now Crawford staying right out there.
There's a travel. What he made out of the Big East performance so far in the tournament, Billy? Some early surprises. Syracuse,
a little sketchy.
Nothing left, it looked like, after their run through the tournament. Seton Hall was just awful in its opening round game.
They're 5-4 and do not have a team to advance all the way yet.
Oh, Sparks with another one. Having quite a day. Well, they got a bunch of opportunities here this afternoon.
Pitt
to the regional.
Pitt is a team that I thought could go a long way. They're out of there, so they still got 4 more alive to get to the Sweet 16.
A bombing call against Austria. Now they've got Villanova on this floor later today, and West Virginia's got a sizable lead over Northwestern State, so could be well on their way to the regional. Georgetown, Connecticut here, and now they bring in Bobby Perry for Kentucky, replacing Crawford.
Crawford has just not been able to get on track at all in this ball game. As I said, he had that game against UAB, 1 for 8. Not a factor there either.
Sparks with a nice pinpoint pass to Sheree Thomas, but Thomas fouled by Adrian, his second. How about the conference champions, just looking back Thursday, Friday? Those who won their conference tournament, look at these leagues, and out they go.
There were 3 people that played about as good as you can play. Southern Illinois likewise, but 3 people playing as well as you could play. Syracuse, 4 days they played to win their championship, but it looks like it took a lot out of all 5 of those clubs, who certainly looked like they could have a nice run in the NCAA tournament.
Rudy Gay back in as Denham Brown heads to the bench.
And Jim, when you take in consideration, and now as you pointed out at the top, Missouri Valley, and you know you had to play 3 games to win that championship, just like we talked about Kansas making that run, beating the Texas, the Syracuse having to play 4 days. The competition just takes a lot out of your legs.
Makes you start wondering what's the value of winning my conference tournament if I'm going to give it all up for the NCAAs.
Well, you could ask Mike Krzyzewski. He won his tournament, and he's
one guy that's always been able to go ahead, give it his all in the ACCs, and then still have everything full gas.
He's now working on 9 straight Sweet 16s. Pretty strong. Dean Smith, the all-time leader, with 13. And what was also interesting to me, Illinois, with 2 straight Sweet 16s, was the closest to Duke at 8, and now Mike Krzyzewski is sitting there at 9.
Off street, defending. He just returned to the lineup.
Nice spark over.
Pass to Huskies and gets the layup. What a performance by the senior from Central City, Kentucky.
I never thought he'd be able to get off one shot like that against this shot-blocking Connecticut team. That is his 3rd shot, penetrating and running that little lob shot of his for a basket.
And he's gotten the Kentucky team revved up now within 7. Sparks has 21 for the game, 12 in the half.
Did a smart thing there. A guy trying to hand check him. He pushes it away to bring attention to the referee.
Bradley now tries to drive in. And yep, it's going to the Huskies out of the timeout. However, Kentucky was down double digits, down 12 at the half. And we're going to send it right now to Greg Gumbel in New York. Just tied it right there.
To the true fan, the whole year comes down to just one.
5 of the 12-point deficit.
Nice job of picking up here by Kentucky. And they got Anderson right where they want him. That was a terrific job by Kentucky.
Sparks thought about the pull-up 3 and hits Thomas on the pass inside. Armstrong got him on the arm.
Spark is having a sensational game, Jim. He looked like he was going to pull up for the jumper. Watch him look for the jumper here. That throws the Connecticut defenders, and then a terrific pass inside. But that was a terrific job by Tubby Smith, going to the full court press. Everybody ran away. I'm talking about Williams particularly, ran away from Anderson, and he picked up that dribble in the worst place you want to. Right in the corner, no place to go. Good job, Tubby Smith loved it.
Kentucky with Thomas shooting one more free throw. They're 8 out of 9 today from the line after going 26 of 30.
Yeah, that kept them in the game the other night.
Against UAB, so 90% today, and they're on an 8-point run.
That was a good idea by Armstrong. Get that ball back into Williams' hands against the press. Perry has been able to do a pretty good job on Gay lately. He has been quiet. Now he's got it.
Dennis Brown working on Bradley. Puts up the shot. Morris had it, lost it. Brown fouled, and they'll shoot 2. Morris had it.
He sure did. Yeah, Morris is holding his own against 2 people almost on every rebound.
That's the thing you're talking about. Sometimes you slow down the court, but he's getting banged on both sides.
Yep. That was another good example.
That's just his first foul. And Dennis Brown, dead-eye shooter is Denham, and he'll have a couple. Has he ever starred in international competition? A Canadian out of Toronto, and had 28 points last summer in a game against Team USA in the World Championship qualifier. In the backcourt, by the way, with a guy named Steve Nash out of Santa Clara.
Not bad.
So he can certainly, when called upon, fill it up. And he gets 2 right there. That breaks the 8-0 run, and here comes UConn with a steal.
Sparks tried to split it again. It didn't quite work out. Williams, I think, anticipated it. Ooh, Perry gets grabbed by Gay.
Gay saying, wait a minute, he had a hold of me too. But it's going against the Husky, his 3rd. And that's the 16th foul on Connecticut, 1 away from a 1-1 for the Cats.
Well, Denham got the kind of shot that you'd really like to have if you're Connecticut. Wide open look from the corner. Is Here's Williams on Sparks. Kentucky really running their offense well.
Harry puts it up. Oh, watch out. Ooh. Josh Boone landed on the back of his head.
Undercut on that play. I think he's going to be all right. Relatively soft landing and what looked like could be a real problem.
Thankfully back on his feet quickly. Undercut by Armstrong. You know, we were at a practice a couple of weeks ago.
Same two guys.
Similar thing with the same two players, and they were shaken up, and we were convinced at the Louisville game that there was some lingering effects.
I agree.
That's the fourth foul on Armstrong.
The all-timer that I've ever seen in an NCAA tournament.
I know where you can I guess?
Yep.
David Thompson against Billy Knight of Pittsburgh.
I'll never forget that. David went up. It seemed like his head, and I'm not exaggerating, was about 3 inches above the square on the glass in that play, and went right straight down on his head. Eventually came back that day onto the bench. And
how about when he came back into the arena?
Well, he had no idea where he was, I can tell you that. But then a week later, he was able to lead his team to a national championship, knocking off John Wooden and UCLA.
1974. Yeah, they beat them actually in the national semifinals. And then Marquette, now McGuire, your pal, in the final. In Greensboro. Williams, foul. Was it in the act of shooting?
You know, you have the feeling that Connecticut's in control of this game, but Tuffy Smith was willing his team right on along and hanging in there.
Well, they cut it from 13 to 5. A foul on Thomas, his first, and that's 5 team fouls.
And here's Williams, second teamer, Big East. But you know, Jim, when you really look at this guy, he missed a good portion of the season.
Look, Billy, we got an urgent update with Greg Gumbel in New York. So here comes Kentucky, and now it's back to a 7-point spread. I tell you, North Carolina could be going down to George Mason. What a shocker that would be. I had mentioned earlier George Mason was a 13. They were an 11, actually, but many didn't figure them to get in. There's Bradley, and back to the rim blues for him.
Tough shot for Bradley.
Carolina, Billy, is down 4 with less than a minute to go to George Mason. What a tournament this has been. The little guy has been just amazing. Remarkable play by so many this week. And look at, talk about remarkable guy, huh?
Williams, 2 nights in a row now, or 2 days in a row, has led this Connecticut team back from a lot of adversity. And he's holding there on Sparks.
9 minutes left, and Marcus Williams commits the foul after scoring the basket at the other end. Kentucky had crawled back to within 5, but now the lead is 9. In fact, 3 occasions in this half, Kentucky cut it down to 5. Villanova's just walked into the arena. You see him there at the top of your screen. And will they have a little support here in the next game, you think? They'll be taking on Arizona. A cap fight. Wildcats and Wildcats.
You know, isn't it interesting in regard to Sparks is you're using 75% from the line, but has only gone to the foul line 36 times. So you can see, if you're looking at the stat sheet and you're making a scouting report, you say, you know, the guy is not going to penetrate. What has he done today? Penetrated and made 3 running layups.
14 points in the half, 23 overall for Sparks. Trying to will his team to the big upset win. Williams, there he is again, so smoothly finding an open man, and Adrian brought down but fouled, and that's on Thomas. Actually they're calling that on Morris, his second.
You know,
Adrian to the line, Billy.
Adrian to the line, as you said, Jim, another one of those interchangeable parts that comes in. A freshman so strong, solid, does the things he's supposed to, hard-nosed defense, strong, powerful rebounder.
They list him at 6'6". Plays inside. He's really got tremendous quickness with that well-chiseled, beyond mature, beyond his years kind of a body. Quickness that beats up. It's too fast for a lot of the big guys, but a lot of power. Too strong for the little guys. So he gets it done.
I think he's, as you pointed out, kind of surprised Connecticut people to be this big a contributor as a freshman.
Morris gives it up on the baseline. Shot up and good by Thomas.
Kentucky has not backed down in this ball game.
That's a travel. Anderson never quite had a hold of it.
Again, Connecticut keep trying to go for the knockout punch, and Kentucky is not to be knocked out.
Rudy Gay back in. The basket a moment ago by Sheree Thomas. The first field goal of the game by a Kentucky sub. Lob to Rondo. Able to still somehow come back with it. Perry, huge shot. Three. Yes. We've got a game in Philadelphia.
Boy, that was some play that Sparks and Rondo tried to pull off. Just goes to show you the respect Sparks has. Rondo was being guarded by Brown, and here's Williams taking over a ball game again.
Just like he did Friday night.
He has been the offense.
Perry, another three. Nope. All there, and it's out of bounds.
There's a timeout on the floor.
Kentucky and Connecticut continue to battle here. Things are, as it's been for 4 days, been nail-biting time all across the country for college basketball fans. As exciting as it gets. And this one, who knows, also could be a down-to-the-wire finish.
Now, Jim, when they're not the best of 3 series or 5 or best of 7 series, it's one and done.
What makes it special,
really
right?
Makes it special.
Williams all the way. He is going to the line.
Thomas does not get there in time, according to the official.
Tell you, Williams looks like every time he touches it, if he wants to, he can wriggle free to get a clean shot or a perfect setup pass.
You know what impresses me most, Jim, is what he has done today compared to what he did the other night in bringing his team back. The other night, he was pulling up, taking 3-point shots.
Well, they were giving it to him.
Yeah, but they showed the versatility. You want to give it to me? I can take it.
That was a third foul on Morris. So Williams continues to post an impressive line. He's got 13 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists,
well, how about
3 rebounds.
How about on the other night? 7 for 11, 5 for 7 threes, 21 points, 4 rebounds, 8 assists, only 2 turnovers, and 2 blocks.
Wow.
I mean, you talk about a line for a backcourt leader. And he's on Sparks, so Jim Calhoun wants to put him on the guy that's been the hottest offensive player for Kentucky.
Kentucky has cut it to 4 once in this half after being down 12 at the intermission. Thomas hits a 3, and it's a 5-point game in Philadelphia.
And here comes Williams again.
Thomas with 8 points off the bench, all of them coming in this half. Here he is defending on Boone.
And the big difference in the first half was that 20-0 run that the Connecticut bench had over Kentucky. So those are really important points coming off that bench.
Dennis Brown spins out, and that's last touch by the Huskies. It's going to Kentucky.
Great job by Randolph Morris to help out. They haven't gotten the ball into him lately, and I think it's about time. He's got Ed Nelson on him. He needs to get down the low post. There he is.
Sparks coming around and kicking out. Thomas, hot hand in the half, but not this one.
Now back to the friends and former teammates going head-to-head out here. Rondo, who's a tremendous defender, but he's going to have his hands full with Williams.
The defending national champions are out. North Carolina's eliminated as Gay hits a big one for the Huskies to lead it by 7.
You know that term, defending national champion, Jim, you can put that away in regard to college ball.
Yeah, so you don't defend, you're not defending anything. A lot of coaches take issue with that.
Yeah.
It's such a completely different roster in Carolina's case this year, but you can have George Mason now to the Sweet 16 to take on Wichita State.
Isn't that something?
Isn't that amazing? Good for them. Good for the little guy making his presence felt. Kentucky putting up a big fight in the second half. They've got a break opportunity. Sparks dishes to the troll. Spins out on Morris. Spins out, but he'll go to the line for a pair as Kentucky continues to crawl back.
That was a tough decision for Sparks, who's played a brilliant game today. I think Morris, in fairness to Morris, Jim, I wasn't sure that he felt he was going to get that pass, but he's got to finish that off with a dunk.
2 shots at the line. Kentucky just brilliant so far as a team. 13 of 14. 14 of 15 make it now with Armstrong and Anderson coming back in for the Huskies.
Now, Sparks this year has had some great games. He's had 3 20-point games against good teams, but I have never seen him play a game like he's played today in regard to all aspects. Defense, leading the team, his shooting, his scoring, his aggressiveness. He's having some game for a senior, not wanting to play that last one.
So 2 big ones by Morris, and we've got a 1-possession game here.
And I'll tell you, Rondo Williams, now this is about as good a defensive matchup as you can have against the great point guard from Connecticut.
Gay, no go, and Rondo pulls it down. Pitches it back to Sparks, who takes off, puts it up, no call, and out of bounds on Connecticut.
Well, Sparks had made a pass the last time, but he was destined to take that one all the way, hoping to get fouled.
This Kentucky team down a dozen at halftime, as many as 13 in the second half. Led for a total of only 17 seconds early in the game, but they are fighting back.
Jim, does this remind you of the Kentucky team that had Duke here
in Philadelphia, just a few hundred yards away at the old Spectrum? This gets high. Sparks, and the ball tipped around off Kentucky. Well, I tell you,
same
Kentucky,
kind of team as far as toughness and fighting back.
No question.
Not willing to give up.
The unforgettables.
That's right.
But Kentucky trying to exorcise some unpleasant memories here in the city of brotherly love.
Yeah, they don't want to have to bring back Christian Laettner.
And then they came back in 2001 thinking they'd get a rematch game in a regional final with Duke, but lost to USC in the Sweet 16 to Kentucky. Quick shot, Anderson. He was hitting those in the first half, made 4 from outside the arc.
Oh, Rondo, what are you thinking about?
Off the hands of Morris.
3-point game. Morris, who's been running, has got to be tired with all the banging he's done. I don't know if that was a good idea on that play. Too important a possession.
Denham Brown back in for Connecticut, in for Anderson. Well, UConn was hitting the threes in the first half. I said UConn. It was Rashad Anderson. But now as a team, the Huskies have failed on the last 7 tries out there.
Rondo has taken away some of the penetration by Williams. Let's see if he can continue. Nice screen. Beautiful pass.
Underneath, couple pump fakes. Brown knows what he's doing with it.
Well, what Williams did there was the good head fake. He looked one way and threw inside. He's always under such control.
So Kentucky actually had 2 possessions with the lead at 3, but failed to do anything with it.
Rondo should not have taken the chance with that long throw.
Morris driving and kicking it back out. With 10 on the shot clock. Perry, who had the hot hand on Friday,
looking for the screen.
Rondo better do something with it in a hurry. He knows. Puts it up from 3. His first points of the second half. We got a 2-point game.
And Jim, that is not what the shot that he's looking for. He's a 26% three-point shooter.
And a turnover through the fingertips of Denham Brown. The wildest, wackiest road to the Final Four maybe ever. And Kentucky has cut it to 2 with 3 minutes to go.
Well, watch the ball start here. Now watch them go, reach for it, and the ball right there was in the eyes of the official, touched by Sparks. You see it right there.
I don't know. I don't know about that. But it's they say it was off Sparks, so it, I thought they had signaled already going the other way, but it's UConn's ball with 25 on the shot clock.
That was amazing. The ball rolled down the back. Normally that'd go wide out of bounds.
Hit Denham Brown in the face.
Yep.
So is Connecticut coming back from 12 down on Friday night. Now they've seen their 13-point lead dwindle to 2. Armstrong. Nowhere to muscle inside.
That was a nice help by Randolph Morris.
And one. Can you believe it? This kid just finds so many ways to get it done. Marcus Williams.
He used the screen so well. We all know he's a left-hander, but he still makes it work. Watch him. He's going up against Morris. He uses his body. Jimmy, you can't underestimate how strong he is. Because Morris is a real man. And he hit him with that upper body and moved him back just to get enough room for that shot. That is some play.
He's the first Connecticut player ever to post a triple-double in a Big East game. Fails to get the triple here, but Armstrong with the putback, and that ends up being that whole out-of-bounds sequence. Staying with Connecticut, they end up getting 4 points out of it, and the lead's back to 6. And a hold against Connecticut.
That was a good selling job by Sparks. Williams was pushing him.
And for Williams, he has 4. That's a big one to watch.
Absolutely. I'm surprised that he played that aggressively on Sparks with a 6-point lead. You don't want to pick up that cheap foul because he is absolutely critical to Connecticut in the last 2 minutes.
Double bonus. Sparks for 2. The son of a coach. His dad still the coach over at Muhlenberg North High School. His dad, Steve. Things have tightened here in Philadelphia. Kentucky had it down to 2, in fact. Now the lead is 4 with just 2.5 to play. A 1 seed getting pushed.
Now, Rondo on Williams. This is a good matchup defensively, but Connecticut has been setting high screens to free Williams to get Rondo off him. And if you're Morris, you've got to really play, and Boone can cut right down inside. Beautiful drive.
Williams weaving, putting it up. Boone, and he is fouled.
But Jim, that's what happens. If you're going to go out there and play that hedge move, even though Williams that time cut right in between, that leaves Boone wide open either for a dish back or in that particular case to follow up the shot. But if you're Kentucky, you got to take the gamble. You've got to keep Rondo on Williams.
Well, Morris is out with 5. That's it.
Well, in fairness to him, and we've talked about this, he's been very tired, but he's had to battle basically about 4 men of equal size all day long.
Well, they keep bringing in fresh bodies. They've had everybody from Armstrong and Boone to Nelson coming in. Jeff Adrian plays down low. I'll tell you, this bracket here, this DC bracket, look what we have here now. George Mason. And you know, George Mason, that was one of the teams a lot of people called into question. How did the committee figure they got a bid? And they have proven to be all over it again with this one, like they have with the Missouri Valley. Let's face it, George Mason knocking out North Carolina. And, you know, Hofstra had beaten George Mason twice late in the season, and there were a lot of people kicking and screaming about their absence from the field. And, well, now you can see why they deserve consideration based on what their conference foe has done. Boone comes up all air on the first free throw. He does not have a point in this game. But this bracket, that the winner of this game will head to the regional, has at best right now a 5 seed in Washington in place. Short again. But Armstrong with a second offensive rebound off of this free throw.
And now without Randolph Morris in the ballgame, Kentucky is really small. Probably a little late in the game to go with the lean, so they're going to have to go with a small club. And there you have that powerful front line of Connecticut with Armstrong, Boone, and Gay on the floor, so they can go for some offensive rebounding.
That's too big rebounds by Armstrong in the last minute off of missed free throws.
And here's the key again, Austria in the ball game, because Jim Calhoun wants to keep Williams on the bench because of the foul trouble he has.
One more at the line for Hilton Armstrong. Kept it alive. Young man who has really developed, and a great example of what college basketball used to be. Developing a player 4 years in a program. Ball squirts out, and look at it's Armstrong for the third time off a missed free throw. This one is owned. Young man who was recruited by only one other school, LaSalle, from right here in the Philly area.
Now you see what Jim Calhoun's going to do. He's going to get Williams back into the ball game.
Timeout, Connecticut. Up 5. 2 minutes left.
To the true fan, the whole year comes down to just one weekend. The 2006 NCAA Men's Final Four. In the biggest ticket giveaway in NCAA history, only Pontiac is sending 100 fans to see it live. You have until Monday, March 20th to get to your Pontiac dealer. Get your ID number, log it in at ncaasports.com/Pontiac, and see if these seats will be yours when the Final Four comes down to just one. Pontiac, official performance machines of the NCAA.
We've got double bonus situation the rest of the way. 2 free throws for each side. This point forward, arrow to the Huskies, who are trying to hold on here, and they have gotten second chances here in the late going, courtesy of Hilton Armstrong. There he is. Again, LaSalle, the only other school to recruit him, but has he blossomed as a senior? Timeout again. They have to take another one.
Good defense by Kentucky.
Tubby Smith's team fighting back from 13 down.
Don't you know that I'm loving you? And I got all the freedom, baby. Don't you know that I'll always be true?
Need a little flower power? Our retirement specialists can help. Call 1-800-FIDELITY. Smart move.
So 2 quick timeouts by UConn, leaving the Huskies with only 1.
Jim, you can throw the ball obviously in the back court. Let's look for the screen. They're gonna try to get the ball in Williams' hands. There it goes. It really helps to have 2 point guards on the floor at this time of the game.
This is the freshman point guard, Austria. Getting past Rondo, driving in and getting a basket you wouldn't expect.
And he got that against Rondo.
Sparks takes the 3.
Oh, what a game! What a game he's playing.
Just not going to give in to the idea that he's going to end a college career here today.
28.
Degree for men. 3 times the protection for men who take risks.
He has just tied his career high. Gymnast Billy Packer talking about Patrick Sparks of Kentucky. 28 points. Gunning a 3 to bring it to 4. And again, UConn stays with the 2 point guards on the floor. This time it's Crawford on Austria. And Rondo's over on Williams.
All of that time that Williams had to sit in those games early in the year, Austria got a lot of experience. Tell me it's not valuable for them right now. But he doesn't want to give up the ball to Armstrong if he has to.
And if you're Kentucky, you don't want to foul now with only 5 on the shot clock. Rudy Gay, seemingly unaware, now driving. And that's a violation. That layup never touched the rim.
Right, it hit the backboard, but never touched the rim. But Rudy Gay did look up at the clock and saw that it was down to about 4.
And he's shaking his right wrist. It's like he may have banged it on the fall. But A defensive stand by the Wildcats with a minute to play.
Don't need to be thinking three-point shots here, but with Randolph Morris out of the game, not a lot in the low post.
Inside to go. Thomas squeezes it through for two.
Amazing.
Thomas with 10 in the second half.
Hit the big jumper from the side and now scores inside.
Looking for great prices on thousands of DVDs? Circuit City makes it simple. Starting Tuesday, you can take home Chicken Little at an unbeatable price. Plus, pick up Wallace and Gromit Curse of the Were-Rabbit for just $13.99 at Circuit City.
Want to get away? Now you can. With Southwest Airlines Internet Specials, fly to 61 destinations for just $49 to $159.
The basket by Thomas and the quick timeout by Kentucky, each side with only one more timeout.
Jim, Connecticut, a good free throw shooting team, 70% on the year, and obviously they go to the line so much more than their opponents. Williams, an 84% free throw shooter. So you have a hard time wanting to, you got to get the ball out of his hands.
We've seen him ice games before.
Yep.
Not miss from the line, including a 6 out of 6 last-minute performance in a close call with Louisville late in the season.
Well, Austry's an 80% free throw shooter, and Brown is also a good free throw shooter.
Williams drives, foul, and he's going to get 2 at the line. 2 attempts. Third foul on Rondo.
Yeah, fouled by Rondo. We talked about the two guys being friends for a long time. And Williams was able to take him.
They played on that USA under-21 national team last summer. They finished 5th in Argentina. It was Rondo, it was Williams, it was Gay. They were all teammates. But now Williams to shoot 2 with 29 seconds.
Say his game pretty solid in all aspects, isn't it? As I mentioned to you.
Including clutch at the line.
Yep.
But this is the big one right here, the second one to make it a 2-possession game. Good again. Sparks looking up the floor, surveying.
Still doesn't need to be thinking 3 here.
But he's going to take one. Rebound, Perry up with it and makes it with 18 seconds.
Despite the fact that Gay and Armstrong are in there, the smaller man, Perry, gets it. The Wildcats are fighting.
They've taken their last timeout.
The ability to use tools gives us the power to accomplish things. Hand us one and we'll build something. Show us what's broken and we'll fix it. Give us a challenge and we'll beat it. The right tools in the right hands can hold a family or neighborhood together. It isn't so much the gasoline, electricity, or even sweat. It's the engine that's inside each of us. Briggs & Stratton, the power within.
Introducing the rebirth of cool. Gatorade Rain. Start crisp, finish clean. Stay cool in the heat. Gatorade Rain.
Kentucky was down 13 with 12 to play, and now the Cats out of timeouts. Strategy building.
Jim, here's the thing that's a problem, and this is where Jim Calhoun and I talked about it. This is the top team in the country. They are so versatile. They all have the 3 primary ball handlers on the floor. Williams, an 84% free throw shooter. Brown, an 85% free throw shooter. And Austry, a 79, almost an 80% free throw shooter. So more than likely, one of those 3 guys will have the ball in their hands that you're thinking about fouling.
Here's the guy for Kentucky. You don't want to send to the line, but they're going to. Crawford bumping with the body. 2 more coming up in this double bonus situation for Marcus Williams.
Calhoun's not a Hall of Fame coach for no reason. Right. You put guys on the floor in a situation, particularly if you have that bench like he has, and there really was no good choice for Kentucky there. But the one choice is you got to do it quickly and hope that you can come down now and still keep it in a 2-possession, or if he misses an opportunity to have that possession of yours, he just So solid. It sounds like Jim Calhoun's hollering on the other side. He wants the defense to be full court.
No miss in that stroke. That's 4 here in the last seconds. And Kentucky with 13 seconds to go. Sparks going in, now kicking it back out. Rondo, they have to have it. Crashing the boards is Perry with the putback, and he got it with 4.8. They can't stop it, no timeouts. Over the top to Gay, got a foul, and they do with 3 seconds remaining.
Which now this is really critical fouls, because with 3.3 seconds, you can do just about anything if you're Kentucky if he would have missed these free throws. Even if he makes one, Jim, you've got that chance. The 3.3 seconds, you can get that ball up court and get a shot off.
Nope. Kentucky fans will be holding their breath with each one of these, and even a little bit longer, because this kid puts a lot of arc in it. It takes a while for it to come down.
But a 72% free throw shooter. Connecticut this year has shot 298 more free throws than their opponents.
Well, here's the 2 big ones right now.
Boom. Been solid, haven't they? And this next one is the ball game.
Of course, if it's a miss, Kentucky has to react quickly off the rebound. They have no timeouts. Gay can ice it right here.
And he does. And now for Jim Calhoun, drop out, no foul.
Sparks puts up one last 3 in his college career. He had a remarkable day, but Calhoun and Connecticut advance and win the first ever meeting with Kentucky. The Washington, D.C. bracket is all set. A 1 and a 5, a Husky matchup. UConn and Washington, George Mason and Wichita State heading to our nation's capital and the Sweet 16. Patrick Sparks, 28, tying a career high. Marcus Williams with 20 and 8 assists and 4 big free throws. Chevy MVPs. And Greg Gumbel, we hand it off to you, my friend.
All right, Jim, so 3 #1 seeds now in the Sweet 16. Villanova still to play. Meanwhile, in Auburn Hills, West Virginia, leading Northwestern State. Let's get you to Vern Lundquist and Bill Rafter.
57-49, 3:52 to go in this one. The Demons of Northwestern State fighting back. Time is gold.
So this truck driver came into H&R Block and he said, "Don't forget, I can deduct my union dues." And I said, "Not only your dues, you can deduct your logbooks, your seat cushions, motel bills, truck washing costs, truck loading and unloading fees, and possibly your cell phone." And he looked at me and he said, "You do this for all your clients?" And I said, "No, just for anyone who works for a living."
The maximum refund guaranteed, or your return is free. H&R Block, in your corner.
Official U.S. PlayStation Magazine raves, best driving sim ever, bar none. Yahoo Video Game says, one of the most spectacular action titles to grace the PS2. Motor Trend writes, most realistic driving simulation game on the market. And Stephen Chow of Baker, California says, at just $19.99, I'll actually have money left over for deodorant. Man, is that gross. PlayStation 2's latest greatest hits, rated E through M, Gran Turismo 4, and God of War, now $19.99.
More people spend time planning for vacation than planning for retirement. Get ready to live the life you've been planning with The Hartford. Because you're not preparing to retire, you're preparing to live. To live your future the way you've always seen it. So see your advisor about the latest products and solutions from The Hartford. And prepare to live.
The thrill of white-knuckle driving obviously came from someone with white knuckles.
Great day, let's bring her in.
Formula One-inspired Michelin Pilot Series high-performance tires.
Or not.
Turn your performance car into a 12-month machine. Michelin Pilot Exalto all-season tires. Michelin, a better way forward.
Remaining after this one in the second round of the NCAA tournament, Georgetown takes on Ohio State, North Carolina State against Texas, and Arizona against Villanova. Our score, 57-49 with 3:52 to go. And let's check the 5 on the floor for each team now. For the Demons of Northwestern State is Forges, Rogers, Bargeman, Clifton Lee, and Tyrone Mitchell. And here is J.D. Collins. He's joined by Beeline and Pittsnoggle, Air Bear, and Frank Young. Off the glass, and they got one.
How big is that? Everybody up top. A little blow by Collins, J.D.
At the other end, Rogers, Clifton Lee, quick ball movement. Dribble drive, and the floater, no!
And look who got the rebound, huh? A little energy supplied. A couple of free throws kept them going, and that blow by, then the rebound by Collins.
These two teams playing for a spot in Atlanta against the winner of the North Carolina State-Texas game.
Clock's on your side, your ally, and this team knows how to use it, and they're comfortable late in shot clock situations.
Pittsnoggle had a good look.
Nice play by Air Bear.
Also Young, who blocked Bargeman out of the way.
Good point.
Under 3 to go.
That's tough when you're trying to come back, give them another opportunity.
Beeline, West Virginia with 3 players full of fouls.
Small change, trying to move the feet. Forgas.
Here's West Virginia, 3 players with 4 each. Collins, Air Bear, Pittsnoggle. And of course, for Northwestern State, Byron Allen has already fouled out of the game.
And they're still working on Gansey in the corner. That's one thing we know, a problem with that dehydration. So I'm amazed in the sense they don't give him some water over there.
Yeah.
You know, maybe they have, but quite a game with this kid.
Mike Gansey.
And this is his roomie.
Suburban Cleveland. Beeline misses the second. 2:30 to go, 11-point deficit.
I think you got to take away the threes. If you're going to give anything, give him the 2.
Can't get that one to fall. And Northwestern State made that run. They might just now be out of gas.
A little flat.
11-point margin. Here's Beeline.
Looking to give one.
Air Bear back outside.
And Joe has done such a nice job with the dribble, I think, all year long. Getting to the rim, one of those guys, they open up. He likes to penetrate.
Pittsnoggle guarded by Lee. There's the cut. Couldn't find it.
Just a little bit off their game.
Mitchell. Nope. 1:40 to go.
And look at the big guy running the floor.
Nice touch. Oh, that was pretty.
Is that Beeline ball? BB.
Pittsnoggle with the find on the touch as Beeline was cutting.
Tough to play, Vern. Nice steal. Oh, the giveaway. Could be intentional. They're not going to call that, though. Smart play.
Jermaine Mitchell. Today's Chevrolet players in the game, Clifton Lee, 11 points. Mike Gansey with 13 for Northwestern State and West Virginia, respectively. The foul called on Jermaine Wallace, and he has picked up his 4th. Here's Frank Young. (63-49) with 1:19 to go. And a reminder that North Carolina State and Texas tip at 5:04. Arizona Villanova at 5:18. The winner of this one will take on either North Carolina State or Texas next Thursday in Atlanta. Forges goes to the bench. Young with a free throw.
Great story, though, huh? Northwestern State.
Yeah, terrific.
Yeah, just taking advantage of the moment.
Winners of the Southland Conference in the tournament for the 2nd time. This is a group that the 4 freshmen finished with a 6-21 record in 03. And here they are in the second round of the NCAAs. Clifton No, back outside, Tyrone Mitchell. Yes! Timeout called, Northwestern State.
They're going to play it to the end, you know that.
1:07 to go.
Rugged design. Awesome power. The most exciting truck line of any manufacturer. This is Nissan Now. Get great offers like $2,750 cash back or 1% financing on the full-size Nissan Titan King Cab. This is the Nissan Now event. Event ends March 31st.
.67 seconds remaining. West Virginia by 14. They have 4 timeouts left. And the possession arrow favoring Northwestern State. A valiant comeback, down by 25, and they got within 8 points. But West Virginia, barring something totally unexpected, will advance to Atlanta in the Sweet 16 for the second year in a row. Here's Beeline.
They really cut hard to the ball. They got problems here. Should be a timeout. And a good call by John Beeline.
And J.D. Collins just threw a punch.
Oh, my, you know
I don't know whether he retaliated. I saw him throw the punch. Okay, here's Collins.
No
Well, there's a shove.
No punch, thank God, huh?
I'll just be a second.
What you gonna do with all that junk inside your trunk?
I'ma get you drunk, get you love drunk off my hump.
Verizon Wireless lets you download full songs straight to your phone with Vcast. Get the latest from the Black Eyed Peas.
You know, I think I'm gonna keep looking. Check it out.
Only from Verizon Wireless. Log on now.
64-52, under a minute to go. Technical foul was called.
And I guess it was down there
on Keenan Jones.
Yeah, that altercation, Vern.
Yeah, that's. I saw the retaliation, and there wasn't much of it, not nearly as much as I thought I saw. So the technical foul will send Pittsnoggle to the line.
Everything is sort of residual. A lot of that earlier little contact, elbow pushing. So Rogers involved in one. It eventually leads to something. So good job by the officials, though, I think.
Yes. 65-52 with 58 seconds remaining.
Just played out.
DJ Ross, senior from Boyce, Louisiana, is on for the final 58 seconds. Collins has it. Now Pittsnoggle.
There's always somebody available. Good post up, a little giveaway.
Foul is called on Marcellus Ross, number 42, from Glenmora, Louisiana.
Pretty good athlete, too. Did you see that? High school track and everything.
J.D. Collins at the line.
Now, your guard is a good free throw shooter. That's important. And even though that didn't look like his style, he's up there at 70. He's shaking his head.
67-52. Now Mike McConaughey is going to clear his bench.
Checking in for Northwestern State, number 31, Jalen Fortier, number 4, Sutton Lloyd, and number 20.
And West Virginia will advance. They're up by 15. It will be West Virginia in the Sweet 16, second time in a row. Keenan Jones gets two. Timeout called by Northwestern State. Clock stop with 37 seconds remaining.
I've traveled every road in this here land. I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere.
No matter where your job takes you, there's a Choice Hotel nearby. including Comfort Inn, Comfort Suites, Quality, Sleep In, Clarion, and Mainstay Suites. Right now, just stay 2 times and earn a free night with Choice privileges. For reservations, visit choicehotels.com. Choice Hotels. We'll see you there.
West Virginia advances. They will take on either North Carolina State or Texas next Thursday in Atlanta, in the Atlanta region. And this one had an uneven quality to it. Still to come, North Carolina State against Texas with a 5:04 tip. Arizona against Villanova. And Beeline will inbound. Finds Airbear. Northwestern State. The season will come to an end with a record of 25-8.
Almost can run it out.
15 seconds to go.
John, with a lot of respect for the game and the people they play against.
5 seconds remaining. Shot clock at 0, so a shot clock violation will put the ball in the hands of Northwestern State with .4 to go. Mountaineers win. They are bound for Atlanta, 67-54.
All right, West Virginia a winner, 67-54. And for the second straight year, the Mountaineers are headed for the Sweet 16. Also underway at this hour, Georgetown and Ohio State. This game taking place in Dayton, Ohio, and the Hoyas with a 10-6 lead. Now, games upcoming next on CBS. NC State against Texas. And we'll be sending those of you ticketed for that game directly to Dallas. Coming up in Philadelphia, Arizona will play top seed Villanova. Those of you going to that game will start on the Dayton game, and we'll get you to Philadelphia for your 5:18 tip time. That all comes your way after this word from your local station.
Get your motor running.
Let's rock and roll!
Catch a new amazing CBS Tuesday.
WRAL is your hoops headquarters. Every NCAA game.
A 6-game championship run.
Live reports throughout the tournament.
Ken Medlin is also in Dayton. He joins us now live.
Where they go, we go.
Jeff Gravely, WRAL Sports, Dallas, Texas.
We have a live report from Greensboro coming up.
Coverage you won't get anywhere else.
We are Hoops Headquarters.
WRAL, your hoops headquarters.
ESPNU available from DirecTV. Call 1-800-DirecTV to order.
Get a second opinion at Toyota today.
This week only, get 0% financing for 60 months on new Camrys, Corollas, Highlanders, Highlander Hybrids,